Welcome to the Western Reviews podcast, hosted by the Western Wonder. Today's episode, the review for F9, the ninth installment of the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Hello, podcast listeners and petitioner Westernites. I'm your host, the Western Wonder, and just as my announcer mentioned, you're listening to the Western Reviews podcast, where I'm not reviewing westerns per se, but rather reviewing movies from the Western Hemisphere. I wish I could delve deeper into the name process, but time doesn't permit it. Anyways, today I'll be taking a look at and mini reviewing F9. 9 movies into the Fast and Furious universe, huh? Hopefully it'll stick out for me since I kind of fell off with the franchise 3 or 4 movies ago. So if my knowledge on certain characters is limited, you know why. Take a listen to the trailer for the movie and I'll be back with my review. Oh boy.
The world has a way of changing. And we change too.
I know some people, they would die for me.
There are moments that separate us.
They're my family.
But we always come back together.
We heard y'all needed a little love out here.
Y'all ever thought about the wild missions we've been on? We've taken out planes, trains, tanks. I'm not going to even think about the submarine. And now we got cars flying in the air? Who is he?
Jacob is Dom's brother.
Been a long time, Dom. Little brother.
You always say never turn your back on family, but you turned your back on me. Now your little family is in my world.
Are you ready?
Whatever's on you,
Is you ready?
it's on us.
Are you ready?
He's got his own private army. We need help.
Bring what you got.
No way.
Is you ready? Whole squad ready.
So how do y'all want to play this?
Fast.
We going We going Whole squad ready.
Okay, this is a bad time to mention this, but I don't drive.
Brother against brother. This should be interesting. But could you kill him?
Get the e-brake for me, would you, darling?
Crank it all the way up.
We the soldiers. Man, we messing with magnets now? If you woke, don't wake up. Whoa. Can't front. Yeah, everything we gave up. Even when we die, we raise up. Yeah!
It's good to be back.
We got no white flag and no treaty. We got the product, we got the tools. We supposed to stop that? Hold on! We going wild, we on the loose. People is blind, we are the truth.
I spent my entire life in your shadow. And now, you spend the rest of yours living in mine.
We going wild. We on the loose.
Not today.
We are the truth.
Really? Drug tape? You acting like we on our way to Home Depot.
Hunter! No, Ted! I don't want to die!
Just a warning that I'll be spoiling certain areas of the movie, or a lot of areas of the movie. And I'll keep the review miniature since I'm judging this from a bootleg recording of the movie. I'm sure if you're a pirate out there, you know what a bootleg is. Anyways, the pilot of the movie revolves around a team-up of Dom Toretto's gang after a world crisis needs their assistance. A big factor of their requirement is due to the long-lost sibling of Dom being one of the bigwigs involved. Will they save the day? Or will the Bros lose a battle for once? Well, I think the answer is pretty obvious. They win, but they lose, since the franchise will go on for yet another, 1, 2, 3,000 flicks. So it's a find out what happens next kind of ordeal. So for my general thoughts of the movie, insane and all over the place. First off, I want to say it's a good thing to see some of the OG faces from earlier films. Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Jordana Brewster, Tyrese, Ludacris, even one-off stars in previous films such as Bow Wow from Tokyo Drift appear. And even though they're mostly playing their characters in yet another crisis, it is quite the sight to see. But just as there are old faces, there are new faces as well. John Cena, for example, plays Dom's brother Jacob, whose outfit and aesthetic reminds me of Rami Malek's villain in the yet-to-be-released Bond film. And I don't have much to say on this character because John Cena's gonna be John Cena. Charlize Theron plays one of the villains, and a good one who uses a little bit of her screen time to play, well, villainous Charlize Theron. Helen Mirren plays Queenie, the mother to Jason Statham's Shaw, who doesn't show up in this movie, or does he, who delightfully chews up the scenery and has some great chemistry with Dom. Nathalie Emmanuel is also not exactly new, but she's a great recent addition to Dom's crew. Apparently, upon research, she was in the last Fast movie. The Fate of the Furious, is it? Which we're still trying to figure out, but that's fine. And I can't say much on Cardi B's brief role in the movie, but Vin Diesel teased that she'll have a bigger part in the next one, so we'll see what she'll do. In all honesty, this cast is pretty packed. About the plot. Well, what happened to racing? The early moments in the film were adorable. Dom and Letty with their kids, that's beautiful and all, but minutes later, boom! Shootout with Dom and screaming Tyrese, forgive me. The action sequences are fine and all, but what happened to the racing? The only time I see racing depicted in this movie is in the flashbacks, which slap you harder than It's a Wonderful Life or a soap opera. It makes you wonder how Dom quickly hopped into the family business again. And I told myself I wouldn't make a joke about how he's probably imagining and everything at this point, and at some point he begins fighting air and the air is kicking his rotund behind since his brother can't be visibly seen, and I still made the joke. Meh. The saving the world theme is nothing really new or noteworthy, so I won't address that bit, but the part that got me in stitches was the scene that had everyone talking after it was leaked by a cast member earlier this year. The team goes to space, unfortunately not to fight aliens, something that Men in Black probably would have aced in their sequel, the Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones era anyways. But they just go out there to explore. And not only that, but Ludacris and Screaming Tyrese go up to space in a car. While it was briefly portrayed in the trailers, this was the true confirmation for me. And speaking of crossing over cars in space, I hope Dom and his family really skip on that Jurassic Park crossover offer that I'm hearing. Screaming Tyrese and dinosaurs may seem funny, but what else would be there to offer? This franchise has gone mental, and that's all I can really say, and it's time to receive its rating from me. So, F9 the movie as a whole falls under my meh could be better rating. The film as a whole is hit or miss. While the action sequences and visuals are positive, the cast performances and overall story can be pretty much middle of the road. And I'm putting this lightly as a viewer of a bootleg. We'll see if the next one can beat this rating. Or not. Is it a recommended pick for me? If you're a ride or die fan of the franchise, you'll love it. If you like action movies with stunning visuals, this may be for you. Otherwise, you should probably skip if you're not willing enough to sit through 2 hours of this lack of racing insanity that is F9. I'm the Western Wonder, and that is all for today's episode. Be sure to stay tuned for future episodes by following the show on whatever platform you might have found this, and on my socials, @reviews_western on Twitter, and @westernreviewsofficial on Instagram. If you haven't already, check out my previous reviews of films such as Mortal Kombat 2021 version and Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. That one I recently did with my recurring compadre of a guest, Mr. Curtis Elton. I hope that you podcast listeners and Westernites enjoyed this little review, and I'll be sure to see you on the next roundabout to Westernwood.
Bye, have a great time.